Hey everyone, we're here on a Ram 1500 2015 model that the axle seal was leaking, and as it turned out the axle bearing is completely shot. I'm going to end up cutting this bearing off to take a look at the axle, but in the meantime I've ordered a new axle and it come bare. And when I mean bare, it doesn't have the tone ring installed or the lug studs, the wheel studs. What it came with was just a bag of goodies. So what this video is going to be about is installing the tone ring and the studs, the wheel studs. So I got a good deal. That my local auto parts stores was $500. The first couple couldn't even get this axle for some reason. On this, you'd think this Dodge would be pretty popular truck to stock axles for, but they couldn't get the axle. The one that could, it was going to be $500. I got this from Rock Auto for $200. Probably the one reason why it's $200 is because it's not all together. Which is no big deal. I mean, if you're capable of pulling an axle out and replacing it, you should be capable of, putting the tone ring and the wheel studs in. Now, the one thing that on this particular axle we're going to have to be careful of, you can see that it's got multiple holes in it, so it's obviously set up for two different wheel patterns. So I'm going to have to make sure that if I get the right wheel pattern, and that's going to be pretty easy, what I'm going to do is just put this axle on its side, put this one on its side, run these studs into the appropriate holes, and then I'm going to mark them. And actually it looks like this hole is bigger than this hole. So yeah, it looks like, hold on just a second. Okay, well that's going to be simple enough. The only ones these are going to go in is that one right there. Anyway, I'm going to show you how I'm going to do it. Should be pretty simple, straightforward. So let's get to it. Alright, so I've got the axle here in my press. Got it centered up right there on the tone ring. Got the tone ring going on the right direction. Just using a socket for a spacer, that way I don't have to come down as much as I would have to. And there it is. So now for the studs. Okay, so now for the wheel studs. So I'm come in here, put a wheel stud in right there. Get that lined up just like that. Okay, this is an axle shaft that has been driven on with a wore out bearing. You can see the bearing, and we're going to cut this off, and I'm going to show you what it does to the axle. Well, you can kind of see that right there. You can see what it does to the axle. Bearings in there sideways and everything. Crazy. So look at this is what happens. It wears a groove in the axle, like you see there. And then the bearings fall down, and then you can't get the axle out of the housing, and you got to slide hammer it out. So this groove right here shouldn't be there. I'll show you what a good axle looks like. This whole area right there should be the same. That's a good axle. Anyway, and if your axle seal is leaking, chances are your bearing is shot. And what happens is that axle gets worn like this. Now the axle's flopping around. It's continuously riding on the seal and wearing the seal out. So the seal starts leaking. Most people just pull the axle out, put a new seal in it, and they put it back in. You need to pay very good attention to this area right here where the bearing rides. Because if it isn't a nice smooth machined surface, your axle's bad. And putting a seal on it and putting the axle back in is just a temporary fix before it happens again. The axle should be perfectly machined.